There's no quarterback controversy. Jayden is our number one quarterback. Garrett will get an opportunity to compete, though. And look, the most important thing is when you have two really good quarterbacks, you have to have an open mind. You can't be closed-minded when you're looking at two, elite quarterbacks. So what we've committed to is an open mind and an open process where you can go in and, we're going to give you an opportunity to continue to grow. And then, that's going to allow both of our quarterbacks and Walker to continue to grow as quarterbacks at LSU.
Gotta be honest, I was a little shocked when Garrett Nussmeier came out there for that series. Third series of the game, here comes Nuss, and I get a couple tags like, was that the plan? I said, well, we'll find out if Jayden comes back in. I guess it was. I didn't see any injury. I'm not aware of anything that happened there, but we'll just see. And then obviously Jayden came back in, and they just had a plan to play two quarterbacks. And then Brian Kelly says after the game, look, we don't have a quarterback controversy. Jayden Daniels is the number one quarterback, but there's a competition. But you've got to have an open mind. He said everything right. And that's really the situation in college football right now. You have to always say and do the right thing to keep quarterbacks engaged and then in your program, because they just fail. Not just backup quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. And he's saying everything right there. Wanted to give Garrett a look, wanted to give him a shot. Jayden's our number one quarterback, but he's got an opportunity to compete. And we're not going to be closed-minded and just say, hey, that's the quarterback. You guys are the backups, and that's how we'll divvy up the reps. Saying everything is great. It's just a matter of what the results are. And so now that this game is in the rearview mirror, that Jayden Daniels has made his decision, my opinion on the matter remains the same. I've said it here. I've said it on the post-game show. Said it in private conversations. My opinion is that a third-year player who is not going to be the starting quarterback, by all accounts, will likely look elsewhere. That's just what happens in college football, and that's my opinion on what the future holds for Garrett Nussmeier. But maybe he wants to stick it out. He wants to play at LSU. He thinks he can compete. I don't think what you saw yesterday is sustainable on a 12-game season. You're not going to go Jayden for a couple series, Garrett for a couple series. That's not the answer. One guy needs the keys to the car until he can't drive it anymore. And I would love it as an LSU fan if Jayden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier and Walker Howard all came back next year. Just feels like in this day and age, that is a little ambitious. And my tenor has not changed on this either. My opinion is if both quarterbacks played 12 games next year, in two simulations, Jayden Daniels is the starting quarterback for 12 games and plays them, and Garrett Nussmeier plays for 12 games, I think that it's more likely that Garrett Nussmeier would reduce his turnovers than it is that Jayden Daniels would become significantly more aggressive. I mean, yesterday was a perfect synopsis of these two guys. Jayden Daniels was incredibly productive in the game. He led a handful of touchdown drives. He was 12 of 17 for 139 yards. He threw a touchdown. He also ran it 6 times for 10 yards a carry. And he took care of the football. That's what Jayden Daniels is. He also held onto the ball in the backfield a little bit longer than some people might like. He used his legs a lot, but it was productive. And then on the flip side, Garrett Nussmeier went out there, made decisions quickly, took chances with throws, showed the arm strength that he has, made some big plays, and threw a pick. Now, the pick was a little bit different than what we generally associate with Garrett Nussmeier. We think of him as gunslinger, fearless, takes chances, puts the ball up 50-50, lets his guys try to go. This was simply just a poor throw. The read was proper. The receiver was open. He just didn't throw it far enough, and he let the Purdue guy go make a play on it. But he still did turn the ball over. And the fact of the matter is that every time he's been out there, he's turned the ball over. It looks really good when it's good. because he gets back there, he plants that back foot, the ball's coming out. He's got a big arm. He takes shots down the field. It's exciting. LSU's got a wide receiver room that is capable of making huge plays, and he puts those guys out there. But the ball gets turned over. So the question is, okay, what is the future of the quarterback position at LSU? My opinion is that Jayden Daniels will be the starter next year. Garrett Nussmeier will enter the transfer portal this month or after spring ball. And Walker Howard will stay right there. He'll be the backup for one more year, and then all signs would point that he would be the next quarterback at LSU. Now, this day and age, that's difficult to forecast. Who's to say you don't grab some guy who's started 30 games for Penn State or, whatever. You never know. I wouldn't have thought Jayden Daniels would be the quarterback of this team as of a year ago. Here we are. But it's going to be a lot of fodder until a decision is made. And again, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot here, but I just want to be abundantly clear. I don't know anything about Garrett Nussmeier's plans or Walker Howard's plans. I know Jayden Daniels' plans now. Comfortable talking about it. He's going to stay at LSU. I don't know what Nussmeier or Walker Howard think. I don't know if Garrett Nussmeier says, I'm ready to start. He has proven he can play. That's another part to this puzzle. Like, it's not he was a highly thought of recruit and he's got a lot of talent. He's going to be a really good. He's proven in time out there he can make plays at this level. In the SEC championship game, in a bowl game against a Big Ten team, he's capable. So he's a guy who has proven he can, and he would get a lot of interest if he were to enter the transfer portal. I don't know if Walker Howard is comfortable sitting another year, or maybe even sitting as the third quarterback for another year when you don't get first or second team reps. I don't know. My opinion is that Jayden Daniels will be the quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier will transfer, and Walker Howard will be the next guy up. And I think there's still a pretty sizable faction of LSU fans that prefer the style of play that Garrett Nussmeier offers to the style of play that Jayden Daniels offers. But I'll tell you this. Jayden Daniels this year threw for a tick under 3,000 yards and ran for another 885. He almost ran for 1,000 yards. He was incredibly productive this year as the quarterback at LSU. We about threw a party when Zach Mettenberger threw for 3,082 yards. Jayden Daniels was about 150 yards short of that. It was a good year. He was wildly productive. They won a lot of games, and a lot of them were because of him. LSU is not even in the game against Florida State if it's not for him. LSU doesn't score a point in the first half against Mississippi State if it's not for him. And we know what he did against Alabama. We know what he did against Florida. 6 straight touchdown drives. I just think there's a thought in LSU fans is like, he's not decisive enough. He's not making plays down the field. Wait a second. Mettenberger threw for 3,000. Jayden Daniels threw for 29-13. I know Mettenberger missed a bowl game. I know it's not completely apples to apples. But the fact of the matter is that he threw the ball down the field. They made some plays. He ran for 885 yards. It was a really, really productive year by the numbers for Jayden Daniels. And if he's going to be the quarterback next year, I think there's a lot of optimism in that. I like Nussmeier too. But I think those that are 100% in the Nussmeier camp and 100% out of the Daniels camp, I got to push back on that a little bit. I get where you're coming from. I understand what you think. But, man, the productivity is inarguable. It was absolutely a huge year for Jayden Daniels. So it's going to be a lot of talking around here until Garrett Nussmeier inevitably makes a decision. Maybe he has, but when we find out what that is, it'll create a lot of discussion. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.